Spicy Waffle. I'm Corwin.
And I'm Uko.
And we are back with more of Corwin's 52 game challenge. If you missed the previous video, we're putting a link to it in the description below. But what I have done this year, I went on a magical journey to complete 52 games in 1 year, and I succeeded in May. Dun dun dun! I am the gaming champion. Dude. Fear my greatness. Last time we covered games 1 through 20, and this time we're going to cover 21 through 36. Nicely split it up and get all of that juicy gamey goodness nicely covered. So, number 21, Bullshot. Bullshot is a Metal Slug clone type of game. It's not particularly good in my opinion. You play some sort of either guy in a bull mask or maybe a centaur, or not a centaur, a minotaur. Okay? Either you're a minotaur or a guy in a bull mask.
Or a mutant.
I was never really fucking sure, but regardless, you worked for some sort of alien conspiracy called the Kardashians or something like that.
Are you serious?
They had taken over Earth, and then you would become the head of the execution squad, and one day you got a space fax telling you to execute Bully G. Bullington, which was your name, except it wasn't, but it was something like that. You're the head of like the wild bulls. I guess it's some sort of, you're an executioner, but you're also the leader of a wild bull gang or something.
Are you making this stuff up as you go along?
I'm not making it up. I don't remember it perfectly, but this is more or less the actual truth of what the game was about. I would not recommend it to you or really anyone. The art was a little bit on the side. After a while, it got extremely repeated and predictable. So I wouldn't really recommend it, but it is hilarious to hear me talk about it, okay? That's the way I feel about Bullshot. I'd give it like a 5.5 out of 10, and maybe that's being a little bit generous. But then moving on to something that I really did enjoy the fuck out of, which was Insanity's Blade. Now, you may remember, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, we played a little bit of Insanity's Blade during our 2015 summer Steam sale extravaganza, where we played
and we did enjoy it
every day, and we enjoyed it, but not as much as I ended up enjoying it when I replayed it this time. Seriously, it's like Golden Axe, but so much fucking better. I love Insanity's Blade, not just because you can have weird moments where it looks like you're giving cunnilingus to a skeleton or anything, or analingus to a skeleton, but I mean, you're running around as this big old naked dude whooping the shit out of people. Your drunken dwarf buddy is axing him in the face, and then you're going down to the depths of hell and, like, you know, fucking people up inside of their faces with the Insanity Blade, and then you meet your dead family in the future afterlife in hell or something like that, and then you kill Satan, and you're like, fuck yeah, metal rocks, motherfucker, retro games. That's basically what Insanity's Blade was.
Wow, I like it.
Get it on the super cheap. So if you like old school games and you like hack and slash, fucking play it. We might play it one day on the channel, okay? I was orgasmically enthralled with Insanity's Blade. Then, moving on, I give it like a 9 out of 10, okay? It's fucking awesome. Insanity's Blade is fucking awesome. Then, moving on to number 23, Ben and Ed. I know we just recently started playing Ben and Ed Blood Party or whatever on the channel.
And we didn't finish the original on the channel. But
because after a while, it became a bit of a pain in the ass to die 7,000 times while we were recording.
Exactly.
And I'd be having a rage fit in my chair, and Uko's looking at me, and then when he looks at me, I'm like, don't you fucking look at me, bitch. I'll rip your lips off and make you kiss your own ass with them, and then sew them back onto your face.
Once again, precious memories.
It was a really good idea, but it had some problems with the execution, and I hated the boss fights, okay? I fucking hated the boss fights, except for the last one, which I hated because it was a fucking snoozer, okay? The last boss fight was laughably friggin' easy.
Oh, let me guess. So, the level right before that made you want to throw your computer out the window.
The level right before that made me want to rip my head off and throw it into a fucking dumpster fire like the character can do in Ben and Ed, okay? So Ben and Ed Blood Party, or whatever the new game is called, it looks like Ben and Ed, except with all of the problems removed, plus sexy multiplayer and
really good graphics, by the way.
Yeah, really good graphics. Everything seems better about Ben and Ed 2 to me, or Blood Party, or whatever you want to call it. So although I would definitely recommend Ben and Ed to people, I would say if you could only buy one of them and you don't love 3D platforming or something, get the new one that's in early access because it seems awesome so far. So I would definitely not recommend Ben and Ed to Uko, but I'd give the game like a 7 out of 10 overall, and to a lot of other people, I probably would recommend it. Then, coming in at number 24, Dishonored 2. Now, Dishonored 2, I liked Dishonored 1 a lot. I ended up liking Dishonored 2. I know a lot of people had a lot of problems running the game right on their PC, but for me, it ran really well. The problem with Dishonored 2, for my money, is that it treaded over so much of the same fucking content as Dishonored 1, except without having that sort of same iconic, in quotes, feel to it. Everything felt like a Dishonored, okay? And
That's
I
kind
really
of
like
sad.
being able to play as Emily, but the thing is, I don't know if maybe he had more of his original powers, and if I'd played as him, I would have been able to play
you
a
did
little
play
bit
as
more
her?
like in the. I played as her. I played as her, but I could have played as him, and I get the impression they have slightly different powers. So I played as her because I knew that if I went like loud and killed everybody, it would end up giving me a bad ending. And I ended up getting a bad ending, or not a bad ending, but a
Not the
meh
best
ending anyway. And because this time I was like, fuck it, if I accidentally kill someone, or if someone gets their penis eaten off by a blood fly or whatever the fuck, then fuck it, so be it. I don't need that shit in my life. I did really enjoy the blood flies. They were awesome. The big thing with Dishonored 2 that was such a letdown for me, though, is that it had all of the same problems as Dishonored 1. If it was a problem that existed in the first game, it was there in the second game. The using your little piss filter vision to see where all of the fucking enemies and all of the drops are,
Which hides the good
ruining
parts of the game,
incredibly
yeah.
good looking game. The parts where if you accidentally sneeze on someone the wrong way, then you get negative karma points or whatever, and then everything is going to be horrible for the rest of eternity. All of that stuff is still in the game, and basically nothing was actually improved except for the graphics. So even though I liked it and I liked Dishonored 1, I'd have to give it like a 7 out of 10 at best, because it grated on me having the same problems rear their ugly bitch faces again. So 7 out of 10. I would recommend it to Uko though, because it's his kind of thing. But
All right,
I would
I'm down with
recommend that he wait like a year between playing Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2 so that he can enjoy it more thoroughly than I did,
All right, I'm
playing
down
them
with
about
that.
a month apart. So moving on to 25, Altered Beast. I'm going to make this one quick because Altered Beast is a game that when I was growing up, people are always like, yo, dude, you got to like played Altered Beast, man. Altered Beast is fucking fly,
I
dude.
played Altered Beast for 17 hours yesterday.
Sega, bro. You ain't got a fucking Sega. Well, you suck, man. I'm like shaming you now, bro. Shame.
Your parents suck
Yeah,
for
your
not getting you a
parents
Sega.
suck. But so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Altered Beast, see if it lives up to the hype, and it didn't, okay? It fucking
That's really
didn't.
sad,
Now,
man.
the parts that lived up to the name, though, where you turn from being some weak-ass dude into being the goddamn Altered Beast, those were awesome. If they remake that game ever, the entire time you should be the fucking beast, okay?
Wait a minute.
You
Should it be a
either
VR game?
cat or a fucking dog or a crazy wild dragon breathing lightning inside of people's crotches. If they did that, it'd be really awesome. All things considered, I would give it like a 5 out of 10. It was not a very good game in my opinion, but if they had where you're always playing as one of the beasts, I would be like, that's a 7 out of 10 or something. That's a pretty decent game. Not bad overall for a game that's like 25 years old.
So
though.
you're saying I shouldn't break the nostalgia?
No,
and
you shouldn't
do it?
break the nostalgia and play
Okay.
it. Fuck Altered Beast, okay? Altered Beast can suck it. Then, number 26, Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army 1. I had tried to play Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army 1 a long time ago on my own, and I found it, and we actually played a little bit of it on the channel once, and I found it to be a little bit slow-paced, because I kept thinking, well, I'm supposed to be like sneaking around and sniping people in their testicles.
But that's not really
But
how
that's
it
not
works.
how you're supposed to play it.
Not the zombie
you go
ones.
balls to the wall, shooting zombies and their exploding heads. I loved Nazi Zombie Army 1. It was fucking perfect. I love the fighting the generals with their weird ass skulls flying around their heads. I love the way that all of those horrifying skeletons and zombies would come at my faces and I'd shoot them. Overall, it was the least feature rich of all of the Nazi Zombie Army games, which are also on this list. in a minute here. It was the least feature rich, but overall it was the one that felt like it had the most soul to it. So I would recommend it to Uko,
Undead Soul.
and I would give it like an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed Nazi Zombie Army. Then number 27, Golden Axe.
We played this on the channel.
We had never played Golden Axe before. We'd like tried it,
just
but
dabbled
never
in it,
beaten it before. It was really fun. I was surprised.
I really liked it
by how well it actually controlled, despite being a 30-year-old or whatever.
It's a little
arcade
simple,
game.
but that's because it's an arcade game.
It's a little simple. It's got a horrifying dwarf that smashes people in the face. It's Golden Axe. What more could be fucking said about it? I'd recommend it to anyone, especially co-op. 7.5 out of 10 for sure. Moving on to number 28, Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army 2. Exactly like Zombie Army 1, except with more shit, okay? It's got more shit, more enemy types. It introduces, I believe, some weird dudes that you have to shoot their armor off and explode their chests and stuff. I thought that was really good. It was probably mechanically the best game in the Nazi Zombie Army trilogy, but overall, I would just still, it was about the same as Nazi Zombie Army 1, like a 7.5 or 8. Recommended to Uko for sure. It's a short game, nothing bad to say about it.
All right, good.
Unlike number 29, Sniper Elite Nazi Zombie Army 3.
Yeah, you said something to me about this being disappointing.
Immediately has a different tone. Instead of being all occult and dark and everything, it's like, yeah, you see here, over here, we've set up some things that you, some weird traps and stuff. You press this button, and it'll start the radio playing saying, here's zombie. Here's zombie.
So
Come
you're
over
saying
here.
it goes from horror to like horror slapstick?
Yeah, basically, okay?
Oh.
And then after a while, it eventually, they introduced some dude, I forget what the chainsaw bosses, okay? They introduced the chainsaw enemies, which were just bullet spongy bastards that I fucking hated right to the core, okay? And the game was full of all these weird moments where it was like, yeah, you're getting zerged by 7 million zombies, and you're gonna wanna like explode your face after a while because your face is like extremely angry and sad from fighting these zombies over and over again. And that was really not very fun, but in the end, the game redeemed itself by letting you fight and kill Nazi zombie Hitler, who grows to the size of like a fucking small skyscraper, and then you shoot him in his fucking eyeballs or whatever over and over again. Or maybe
I'm down with that.
Throw something in the fucking explosion pit near his crotch or something, and then eventually when you kill him, you dump him into hell, okay? You dump Hitler into hell,
that's very
and he
cool.
flops down exactly like Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1.
Okay, I'm down with that.
That one, then you and your team, your motley crew, like, that I didn't never meet because I only saw them in the cinematics because I was playing it alone. They strut off like, yeah, wasn't as good for you as it was for me, Hell Hitler. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, you were a naughty Hell Hitler, weren't you?
Oh my God!
I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about with that, but I would overall give it like a 6.5 out of 10. The
Do you recommend it to Uko?
I recommend it to you, kind of. Okay, only if you really like the first two games.
Okay.
Otherwise, fuck it entirely. Then, moving on to probably my second favorite game of the year, Nier Automata, or Nier an Automatic Tomato, or whatever the fuck it is. That game was fucking awesome.
Is it seriously what it's about?
No, it has nothing to do with automatic tomatoes. It has to do with like robots and
That's
androids
what I
and shit like that. To me, robots and androids are very much the same thing, but the game makes a very, very clear distinction where it's like, to me, it's like an android is a type of robot, whereas a robot is like a large classification.
A robot is what you use to assemble other things. I'm not going to spoil a whole bunch
of this game. I will spoil it a little bit, so if you don't want to be spoiled about Nier Automata, just go the fuck away right now. I'd never played a Platinum Games game before. I'd played a little bit of Bayonetta in the past, but I never actually beat it because it ran like total ass on the Xbox 360. Nier Automata, it's like my second favorite game of the year so far.
Yeah,
after
Corwin has been raving about it.
I have been raving about it since the moment I beat it. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I thought this game was going to be some dried up ass, but I was going to play it anyway. But instead, I was enthralled by it, and I love it. I love the characters. I even love the weird kind of ugly graphics in the game. There's some panache about it, okay? It's where it's like when you're in the desert, your character, when she like slides and glides, she glides really nicely on the sand. Everything about it is really good. And one of the things that held me back when I was originally going to play it from thinking, man, this game's going to be a little bit janky and weird, was the fact that I knew you had to beat it 5 times or something in order to get the most out of it.
Yeah, I can imagine that
turned
presenting
out
like
to
a
be
hump.
a little bit wrong. You only sort of replay the game once, and even then, it saved the progress on all your side missions. So you can, it just takes like an hour and a half or two
so
to
you
go through the
basically-
main story from a different perspective.
Okay, so you basically just pick up the stuff you didn't do before.
Yeah, you pick up the stuff, or sort of you do something with a different character.
Oh, okay.
And then the third ending is like it starts over after you do the second ending, and it's like, oh, here's the sequel to Nier Automata. That's basically what it's like.
That's
And
so
then
weird.
You pick up at the end of the first storyline, do a whole bunch of cool stuff, and then I know this is getting into mega spoiler territory, so please turn away. But the ending of the game to me was fucking amazing because it gives you the opportunity to delete your save in order to like help other people in the future if they get stuck at a certain specific point at the end. And that to me is fucking amazing. I was able to make the rudest message I could out of the set selection of things that it let me select.
Awesome.
And somewhere out there, I hope someone, and the best part is it warns you that, you know, the person, it'll help somebody at random, and the person it helps might even be someone you dislike.
That's amazing.
And the thing is, to me, I've gushed about this game. It was the most sort of like afterglow I've had of a game in a long time, where I felt like the game helped me to move on from the game. Sometimes you'll beat a game you really liked.
It'll have like too much of an afterglow.
You'll be like,
yeah.
man, that was so cool. But I'm having a hard time separating from it. But the game, it's like you've deleted your save. It's gone now. And it makes you watch as all of your stuff gets deleted.
Well, yeah, because
fucking
here's the
amazing.
thing. I wish I had the balls to go and delete my Yakuza 0 save.
Yeah, so you would never go back to it because
today
it took you like 160 hours.
Today I went back because I wanted to get the weapons I didn't get and order them from the thing in the minigame.
Exactly.
But I shouldn't be doing that.
And also the soundtrack to that game, fucking flawless. Nier Automata, something like a 9.7 out of 10. The game, just like Yakuza 0, was as close to flawless as you can fucking get, at least in my opinion. Then, moving on to something a lot more flawed, Shock Troopers 2 Second Squad.
Oh yeah,
Shock
you don't have to
Troopers
recommend
2,
it because we played it.
We don't have to recommend it to anybody because we played it. It was an okay game. At first, I thought it would be much worse than it really was. The big problem is that it ran like fucking
that's the
ass.
problem.
It constantly had frame rate issues. And there's just, if it's constantly lagging, especially when 2 players were playing, okay?
Because I mean, one of the benefits,
2 players makes everything more fun,
but then
instead it made everything less fun.
One of the benefits of playing really, really old games is you should be able to get them to work really
it didn't
well.
have Milky, okay? It didn't have Milky. Right? Milky was the fucking best from Shock Troopers 1. If you're gonna play a Shock Troopers game, play the first game, fuck the second game. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Moving on to Mass Effect Andromeda, a game that a lot of people hated. I fucking loved it. I didn't care about the fugly character animations or the weird other things. I didn't experience any weird bugs or anything either.
Corwin was just in it for the Mass Effect.
Yeah, I was in it for the Mass Effect. My favorite Mass Effect game is Mass Effect 1. I thought that 2, I disliked. See, in Mass Effect 1, when you're running around on like the Citadel or whatever, you can just pull out your gun and start shooting. You don't know, in Mass Effect 2 and every Mass Effect afterward except for Andromeda, you knew that if you could pull out your gun, anyone that you met in the game was going to be someone who wanted to kill you, okay? So it was like you're entering a combat zone, and that really took me out of the moment.
That's too arcadey. You never get to like, for an RPG.
You know, nobody like ambushes you on the Citadel in Mass Effect 3 or 2. Instead, it's just you always know. It's like, yeah, prepare your squad to go on a mission to fuck shit up. Yeah! Space America, what? That's basically
Did you really just say Space America what?
Yeah, that's basically what I said. I like Mass Effect Andromeda. I hope it didn't kill the franchise, that it had like the funky animations and stuff like that, because I really enjoyed it. I thought that the story was okay. The characters were kind of meh, but the exploration elements, the going around doing things in space with aliens, that was really fun.
And I mean, from what I saw,
with the fact that there weren't like 7 million new alien species, because the idea is that there are no mass relays in the Andromeda galaxy, so everybody's just
there's no galactic civilization there.
Whatever their normal propulsion drives are. So because of that, there's only 1 or 2 new species, and then a whole bunch of like space dogs on the planets and stuff like that.
And the thing is, from what I saw of it, I haven't played it yet, but from what I saw of it, the graphics were completely off the
graphics
chain.
were really good, apart from the weird animations and the faces. If you like Mass Effect 1 and you've heard bad things about Andromeda, give it a shot when it's cheapo, because it was really freaking swag. And now here's 3 that will come in quick succession. Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. The Assassin's Creed side-scrolling platformers, I've wanted to play them for a long time, but this time I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna fucking do it, because it's gonna be fucking beastly. China, it was okay. It was just nothing but okay. There was nothing really Assassin's Creedy about it, and it had the same problem that a lot of other games like Dishonored and Dishonored 2 have, where it's like, well, we're gonna punish you really hard in your anus if you don't have the ability, if you don't stealth everything. If you kill anybody, we're going to literally pull out a paddle
Now,
and
first of
smack
all,
your ass until it explodes.
Dishonored can do that and not be like insane in the
But yeah,
membrane.
it's
because
called
it doesn't-
Assassin's
yeah.
fucking Creed,
Exactly.
man.
Assassin's Creed, not
So yeah,
Slinker's
if
Creed.
you don't walk around and not kill things, you don't get as many points. And then the best part is that if you don't get all those points, you don't unlock all of your abilities. And if you don't unlock all of your abilities, it just makes it harder and harder to
not
get
kill
by
stuff.
without killing people.
Okay, that sucks.
So I did my best in Assassin's Creed China, and I never fucking killed anybody right up until like the end. Or I guess you have to kill the bosses. That was fine.
Okay, so
But,
there are assassinations.
There
you
were
have to do.
assassinations, but you can't kill
Okay.
any of the guards, no matter how much they're like beating peasants to death or something right in front of your face. Okay, if you witness someone kill a fucking peasant and
They're
then
fair
you
game,
murder
yo.
him, you're a
That's
bad
not
person.
murder,
Okay,
okay?
what
Yeah,
the fucking
exactly.
shit? So then, number 34, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, the best Assassin's Creed Chronicles game by a huge fucking margin. Everything was so much smoother. There were a few weird tailing missions that, everybody loved those missions where you tail people in Assassin's Creed. So let's shove them inside our less loved Assassin's Creed side-scrolling
And in case you
thing.
can't hear the sarcasm, that was sarcasm.
That was massive sarcasm, but overall, the graphics were really good in India, in my opinion, or at least the art style. Everything was a lot smoother. I didn't die nearly as often due to weird jank. Assassin's Creed India, it's the best one of them by far. If you're gonna play one of the Assassin's Creed Chronicles games, I would recommend it, and I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't a bad game at all, unlike Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, which was the worst game I've ever played to completion, okay? It is seriously the worst game I've ever played to completion.
So worst.
Yeah, it's the worst game I've ever actually fully beaten. Full fucking stop. Worse than Crysis 3, okay? Worse than Crysis 3, which I
Damn.
gave like a 3 out of 10 on this channel, okay? So Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, its art style is incredibly ugly. Its plot line, it literally involves, where part of the time you're playing as Princess Anastasia. That's like the most trite thing you can possibly do, where it's a story where Princess Anastasia survived.
God.
And then like Trotsky is evil, which I immediately hate, because Trotsky was a pretty good guy compared to most of the other, Bolshevik, insane, torture and kill everybody types. And the thing is, just the game was boring as fuck and constantly had weird ass shit that just slowed you down. And then where there's a really long fight where you escape a tank for like 700 hours right at the end. The game was fucking awful. Never play it. 0 out of 10. No joke. 0. I would never give it. It's a game that launches, but I'm giving a 0 out of 10. Okay.
That's pretty
worst game I've
hardcore.
ever played. Number 36. Lego Batman, the video game. For some reason, I got like a Batman hard-on not too long ago and decided I wanted to play Lego Batman, the video game. And what can be said about it? You play as Lego Batman, Lego Robin, you go around.
One of the great
and
things
you mash
about
things into 1,000
One
pieces.
of the things I love about the Lego games is that I was able to play some of that with him.
Yeah,
I just sat down,
he came in
picked
and
up
he was
a
like,
controller.
let's play some Lego Batman. It'll be cool.
Yeah, I just dropped in, played some, and then sort of went away and didn't play the rest of it, and it was fine.
Overall, what I would say as a downside to Lego Batman, the video game, is that the villain side was a lot more fun than the hero side, because you got to play as characters like the fucking Killer Croc, who could rip things out of the wall and stuff. And half the game, you spend
Wait a
time
minute.
sitting there like wondering, how am I supposed to rip this thing out of the wall? I can see that I need to, and then it's like, oh, you
Oh,
gotta
you
wait
gotta
until
play
you
the
play as
villains.
Killer
But I
Croc
got
to do
a
it.
question though. Do you play as Lego Clayface?
Yes, you do, and
How-
Clayface
so
is
wait a
fucking
minute.
awesome.
Does he like in order to change into another thing? Does he like decompose himself and recompose himself
Instead,
out of
just
Lego?
he just like extends his arms to whack people and stuff like that. He's super strong.
That's fine too.
But it's all fucking good. So I would say Lego Batman, despite being quite aged now, it didn't really age that well. I want to play the second game at some point soon. I would say, despite being quite aged, I would definitely still recommend it. It's a pretty short game. It's a lot of fun. Don't get caught up getting all of the collectibles and stuff, though. That makes the
that's a
game
trap.
less fun. Just play
You'll
the
hate
game,
it by the
have
end
a
if you do that.
ton of fun with it, and then leave it in the dust because it's a dead motherfucker once you've beaten it. Okay, that's that went like very dark.
went dark,
for a second
yeah.
there. But we're gonna stop here. Next time we'll have the final 16 games of my 52 game challenge. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that sexy thumbs up button. Spicy Waffle signing out.